Welcome to Bam Bam Labs.
I'm Raul and
I'm Nancy Julie.
today we talk about 9 reasons why you should teach your child coding. So this is very personal for me because when I was 8 years old I started coding very early and this transformed my life in every single way. And I want to do the same for my daughter Psidora, give her the chance to get the same benefits I got. So I want to make this blog to inspire other parents to teach their children to code as well.
Reason number 1.
Reason number 1, let them become the architects of the future. Because coding is actually literacy of the 21st century. And you think right now you have digital era, you haven't seen nothing yet. The whole world is in next 20-30 years going to be transformed completely. Everything is going to be connected in a network. Robots, AI and machine learning is going to be everywhere. The next 30 years is the prime of your child's life. If you don't understand the language of those machines, you are going to have really hard time. It's a responsible thing to do for every parent to teach their child coding right now, because what's coming? It's not an optional thing.
Reason number 2.
Reason number 2, learning coding teaches your child to understand the world around them. Imagine that you are in China, a city where there is no tourists and nobody speaks your language. How do you feel without understanding anything what's going on around you? That's how your child is going to feel if they don't have the ability to understand how to talk with computers and robots. So this is very, very important for safety as well for your child. If you don't understand the technology and the language of the technology, you are basically forced to take what's given to you. You don't have ability to customize the world around you. You will be very easy to take advantage of. Cybercriminals can steal your things and use phishing attacks and other things that you are incapable of protecting yourself against because you don't understand what's going on. If you learn to code, you are able to customize the life around you and make better choices because you understand the world.
Reason number 3.
Reason number 3, this is an obvious one. Coding supercharges your child's brain. Chess is really good for developing brain as well, but I would say that the coding is like a chess on steroids. What personally for me was very important, abstract thinking, because children, they usually think only in material things. Okay, this is a chair, this is a pen, this is a cup, right? But when coding, they need to create those mental images in their head, abstractions. And this for me was the most important thing that coding gave me as a child, that I was able to imagine. This gave me a huge advantage to have an abstract thinking. It teaches them to split bigger problems into smaller parts. It makes it possible for them to solve very complicated problems. Coding teaches your child to think for themselves and not rely on external sources for information and making decisions. Coding also teaches them pattern recognition and algorithm design. It means that they will see similarities in situations and they learn to apply those into similar situations.
Reason number 4.
Reason number 4, make your child into creator instead of just a consumer. Most children consume thousands of hours of other people's creation, like social media and video games and so on, and this time they spend on those. It doesn't really produce anything. It's not really developing them at all. With a little inspiration and guidance, you could rechannel this energy into coding instead and let them learn a programming language. This way, they would stop being addicted to those consumer activities and they would start looking those products that have been created by someone else in a different way. They would see them as how they work, how they have been built, and so on. Becoming a creator from being a consumer also empowers your child and gives them huge confidence boost. If they can see that they are able to build something for themselves that they didn't know about. They thought it's so complicated, but now they actually created something themselves and they say, okay, that's not so hard. I can do it. I can do something else. And this is like a snowball, you know? And who knows, maybe one day with the right idea, they could be creating something millions of other people are spending thousands of hours on, rather than just being one of those millions of consumers.
Reason number 5.
So reason number 5, coding teaches your child not to give up. This is a very big thing. Normally children and people in general, they think that there is a two ways things can go, whether you succeed or whether you fail. But coding teaches them that this is not actually the case. You never succeed right away or the first time. Failure is just one step on your learning curve closer to the success. It's not the end. It also teaches your child persistence and patience. Sometimes you have an extra difficult bug in your code it takes hours or even days to fix. Because you already have invested so much time into this code, this gives them motivation to be patient and not give up until they fix the problem.
Reason number 6.
Reason number 6, coding guarantees your child's financial success. Learning coding now, with what is coming in next 30 years with AI and robotics and IoT taking over the world, puts them ahead of the curve. When they learn coding now, they will be ahead of this boom, what's coming. The number of coding jobs is increasing exponentially every year. There is a huge gap between offer and demand. Number of software developers we need is here, and the number of developers we actually have is here, and this gap is increasing every year. So this is a huge problem on one hand, but on the other hand it's really good for your child, obviously, if they know how to code, because there are going to be unlimited, exciting and well-paying jobs available for them. Plus, because the demand is so high and offer is so low, the companies who hire those people are actually treating them like kings because they don't want them to leave. For a financial success, your child does not need to find a job at all. They can come up with their own projects, with their own idea. So many huge booms are now approaching us. So there is going to be so many huge business opportunities still uncovered. And if your child starts coding now, they have a chance to be part of that. Also, if your child does not want to be a software developer, in every single area of life, it's going to be required to know some basic coding. Like, for example, if you're a lawyer, in 10 or 20 years, you have to know some coding because of the smart contracts. Everything is going to be in a distributed ledger and electronic. So the lawyers are going to be digital lawyers.
Reason number 7.
Reason number 7, coding gives your child independent learning skills. If normally the teaching process is always there is a teacher and there is a student, coding teaches your child how to learn independently. An exciting software project can make your child work on it voluntarily. You don't need to force them. It really teaches them to find answers and to learn new concepts without any support. Realizing that they can learn new things themselves also empowers them and gives them huge confidence boost. But okay, wow, I can learn new things myself. So I don't need anyone's help. I can do whatever I like. These independent learning skills you can apply to any part of your life. It doesn't need to be only coding. Once you learn it, that you can teach yourself things, you can teach yourself anything.
Reason number 8.
So reason number 8, coding accelerates your child's cognitive development. It's scientifically proven that children who grew up bilingual or trilingual have accelerated cognitive development. So the same applies for coding as well, because it's just another language. Coding also helps your child with attention and focus, because in today's world, most children have attention deficit disorder. When they watch a cartoon on YouTube, they can just click on next one. It's made so convenient to not have focus. And coding is really taking care of this problem, because you can't do coding in 5 seconds. You have to spend hours and hours and days. So that's really teaching them focus and attention for longer periods of time. So I think this is one of the most useful benefits of coding in today's world. Coding also gives your child organization skills. When they have an idea of a game or of an app they want to build, they need to plan it out. They need to decide what kind of libraries and technologies they want to use. They need to build the structure of the project in their head. They need to decide classes, functions, and variables they want to use. So all this gives them very, very strong organization skills that can be applied in project management, in company management, or even building a business. Coding also teaches them collaboration, because if it's a bigger project, then often multiple people are working together. And this teaches them to consider other people and understand their point of views, and also resolve conflicts by negotiation, standing up for your own point of view, and also making compromises. And finally, in terms of cognitive development, it gives them good self-explaining skills. Computer is very simple-minded, much more than a person. They cannot make conclusions, they can't read between the lines. You have to be very specific and concrete with computer. That teaches them to explain complex things in a simple terms.
Reason number 9.
So reason number 9, coding makes learning fun. Normally learning is not fun in most cases. In school, learning is just forced memorization without purpose. They don't have purpose why they learn, other than just it's a very vague kind of promise, graduating and getting a good job one day. But there is no this kind of underlying purpose of why they should learn. When with coding, you have a clear purpose. You want to build a game or mobile app, and You are learning math and art and design, all in order to achieve your purpose. What do you want to do?
I'd like to build my own robot.
How your robot look like?
Look like unicorn.
Unicorn robot.
Unicorn robot.
And what do you want to do with this robot?
Robot can jump and cleaning toys.
Cleaning your room? Okay.
Drawing with me.
Drawing with you? Oh, that's good. So everything you learn because you're motivated to learn. What happens in the brain is very different from what happens in the school. Because in school you're just memorizing things, mostly, because you don't have the connections with other things that help to make this knowledge permanent. But when coding, you have a practical use for that. You can immediately apply it, and you also have purpose, why you want to learn this. Not just learning it for learning. When you're coding, you're actually learning without realizing it, because you're having fun. You're having fun, it's learning disguised as fun. So can children actually learn to code? Yes, they can. They need to start simple, of course. Learn reading and writing first. But there are tons of resources already available today, like a block coding and coding toys that are very, very simple, and that 2-year-old could start doing their first steps in coding. And you can also play offline games that introduce those coding concepts. My 3-year-old here, she doesn't know how to read yet, but she can already play some block-based coding games where you need to make a dog run and jump over a ball and so on. And she can do it.
Please like our video and subscribe below. Robot.
You want to take Unicorn Robot on a beach?
No.
No? Okay.
TV like this. Subscribe below.
Oh my god!